Hi, this is Shahid again with Cisco CloudCenter 4.5 or CliQr. In this session, we'll be covering application profile. This is a continuation of last 3 sessions where we kind of explain what is CloudCenter, a bit of demo, and then deployed CloudCenter in the data center. And also we added the cloud VMware, which is the internal cloud, and AWS. So you can go back and see those recordings, or here is a kind of wrap up of the entire sessions that I did before. So these are the different components of CloudCenter. CCM, as it says, is a CloudCenter manager, which will log in and kind of do the configuration and all the admin works. Then you have CCO and AMQP. We deployed CCO and AMQP in VMware data center and also in AWS that we covered in the previous sessions. And at this session, we're going to create application profile. Actually, the main reason for the CliQr is, or CloudCenter is deploy application. So we will start with a plain vanilla VM, and then we'll deploy a kind of demo application, 3-tier application called Opencart. So this is the ports needs to be open. Actually, I explained in the previous sessions. It is very important that all the ports mentioned on the screen is open and they talk to each other. And before you jump into the next section, it's probably you would like to check that the ports are open. All right, the kind of look like this. The Azure is not there, but AWS is there with the CCO and AMQP. And within AMQP, you have your Guacamole server for remote access. And on the VMware side, you have CCO and AMQP. And the CCM is also on the VMware side. And one CCM can manage multiple clouds. HMON we have not deployed yet, and agent repo we're still using the CliQr provided one, cdn.cliqr.com. In the probably further session we will configure something local. At this stage we're going to create application profile. What it is, application profile. Those who come from the ECS or maybe ACA background, we use a concept of service profile template, right? And then from that template, we can create these service profiles or the policies. Similar, not exactly the same. Application profiles in CloudCenter are templates or blueprints that can be used to describe how an application should be deployed, configured, and managed on cloud environment. So this is a blueprint of the application. It allows you to quickly describe onboarding application in a cloud-independent manner. It's very important. It's a cloud-independent manner. In the application profile, we don't say, VMware or AWS or Azure, what those kind of specs there. So it's kind of cloud-independent. An application profile does not require the user to provide any cloud-specific information or hardware. The profile to any cloud infrastructure. So that's the beauty of CliQr. So you can make profile once and you can use it in any supported cloud. So at this stage, there are many actually clouds that are supported. I covered it in the previous session. AWS, Azure are definitely big too. And we will, in the demo today, we'll cover both, we'll cover AWS and VMware. So just to kind of get an understanding what application profile is a template. In the demo, we'll do 2 things. One is kind of basic what is cloud application profile looks like, and then create a CentOS application profile and deploy it in the VMware, and the same one will deploy in the AWS. Then we create a 3-tier application. It's a bit more complex. It's Opencart. So as an admin, you may not be an application guy, but you need to work with the application team to understand the application, how they talk to each other, how they install without the CliQr. There may be a database component, or there may be a web server component involved. how do they do, and how they can deploy it through the scripts. Once you understand that and you get the scripts from them, then you can import into the Cloud Center. So it is very important that the deployment works without your Cloud Center, and then you can get that into the Cloud Center, so you can do it in an automated fashion. And once it is done, it can be deployed in any cloud. So we'll do it in the VMware and or also in AWS. Okay. So let's jump into the, this is the, if you remember, this is the Cloud Center Manager. We kind of went through these your steps before. So we have two clouds, and we created two environments, one for the AWS and another for the VMware. And we added two clouds. So I'm based in Sydney, and the lab is in, I think, Richardson and Texas. So it's kind of a bit of laggy here. So we have demo VMware, reconfigured the, see here we mapped an image in the previous session. And probably we can have a look on the, this is the VMware VC. So we would like to deploy in the deployment one, and also in Cloud Center, AWS, we have this 8 instance running right now. So let's create one, and the application tab, there's a tab actually, we do create all the application profiling. All right, so start with that. You can also import if it is already created. I can also export that. That's a great thing. A model. So there are different options available. These are the templates or blueprints. You can choose the one that fits your application, and you can start from there. For us, we'll just do a plain CentOS. So there are three tabs. One is the basic information. One is the global parameters, and there's a topology modeler. Basic information, as it says, that it gives the name and other stuff. So in this case, I'll give a CentOS. And it's version 1 for now. And there's nothing there here, means I'll probably show how do you use the repository, which is, bundle artifacts, to pull these scripts. This doesn't have any scripts, so there's nothing there. There's no global parameters here. In the topology modeler, you can choose all these things. These are built in. Load balancer, web server, then OS services for us. So you would deploy CentOS. We just drag it here. Then we have different options. The image we have in the cloud, that is CentOS 6. So we choose CentOS 6 for here. And you can download this worker VM from the Cisco website. Or if you have an image, you can also create that from that image into a customized your worker VM to import into CliQr, because that is an agent that I covered in the previous sessions. That's pretty much it. You could put a firewall rule, maybe port 22. Open. You can put different scripts, like so if you have a script, you can put those scripts here, and there are many options here. I'll cover this in the next one, which will need those stuff: environment variables, node initializations, and so you can have different scripts there. So for this, just making plain and simple, and done. So it's completed. Once it is completed, we can deploy it into any cloud. So how do you deploy that? We go from here, and then we can put in, just to understand this is going onto the VMware, I'll just type in something like CentOS VMware. And then you choose which environment you're going to put it there. So this is demo, and this is the VMware, and the instances. It's bronze. We have only one instance. That's a bronze standard. All you do is submit. Once you do that, we can go into the CCO. Sorry, I think I lost connection. Oh, it's there. Okay, there's a log file. You can see that we kind of started the process. Waiting to start. I kind of put this naming convention here. CentOS. So it goes pretty quickly. CentOS VMware. You can see the CentOS VMware run one, and it started back here. So during that process, there is a callout option. You could put a callout which kind of rename that. Also, there's a callout options to call your IPAM or any other server which provides the IP address. You can see it here. So this is ready instance. But if you go back to the vCenter now, okay, this is where it is. You can go on the console. What it does, it deploys and that installs the different agent into that and make it work. Another thing I showed you earlier, that you can go into the AMQP, which is the connection broker. It has a connection with all the VMs and all the CCO. So it might take a while. So when you do that, we can go back to the RabbitMQ. That's the one. You can see this. This is the CCO. So once the new one comes in, there should be also a connected. It shows a connection, another one, once it is completely ready with all the agent installation completed. So let's go back. All right. Once it is doing, let it go. We will do the application profiling from the Opencart and see how we do that. Okay. At the same time, we can also deploy the same thing in the AWS environment. So already we have selected the deployment environment, and this is a T2 micro instance type, and submit. Once you do that, that's on the CCO one. So yeah, the CCO of the AWS will get busy now, and it will start talking to this CCM and talk to the AMQP and start deploying that. So once it is doing, let's go back and do the application profile for Opencart. Okay, as an Opencart, you need to, I think I kind of described that earlier. Let's put a pause and go back to your Opencart description, so kind of you're in pace if you're new to Opencart. Okay, I think I covered this one in my first session as a demo. So we're going to configure that, and we'll run through this again. So what is Opencart? It's a free shopping cart system, PHP-based online e-commerce platform. It uses MySQL as its backend, and also we, for the purpose of modeling, we'll use 3-tier with an load balancer in front of that. So this is what is Opencart in short. So this is what it looks like, and in our application profile on the right side, this will look like. So PHP on CentOS 6 and MySQL on CentOS 6. Next is how do you do that? First is install the OS, means required dependency, execute installation steps, and encapsulate these execution steps required for the application profile. Now, for that reason, means there's two parts. One is installation of the binaries, and the other one is the making the scripts to make different components talk to each other and make it work. So we have to pull that information from somewhere, and I kind of explained that before. We are going to have an artifact repo. You can have different options there. So these are the two files I'm going to keep on that repository. One is the compile.zip, which has the config.php, which kind of install the this Opencart, and then we have different scripts where it will pull from different stages all those scripts there, and the bundle.zip. So in our case, we have kept it. Okay, that's it. Let's go back. Okay, it's already deployed, the VMware one, and I think it's still in progress. So if you go into the EC2, there's 9 instances running instead of 8 now. And you can see the CentOS AWS run. So you can see the IP addresses. And those who are familiar with the AWS, you know that you can log on using this, your IP address for well, there's an internal and external IP address, so you should be able to log in through this one. Now, next we go back to that Opencart. So I'll refer back to my documentation. So enter execution. Let's put it as Opencart. And this specific version goes with certain versions of the Apache and the PHP. So I have a kind of short note on that. Oh, sorry. Before you do that, okay, let's try to save it. I don't think so you can save. Okay, yeah. Before you do that, we'll have to have a repository. We kind of said that we need a artifact repo where we can pull those scripts and binaries. So this is our kind of that repo, and this is in the HTTP server. Yeah, okay. 52. This is the IP address for that server. And the files we have here for Opencart is okay, here it is. One for the compiler and another for the app bundle. So I just downloaded both of them and just have a look what they have inside those. So this is the compiler one, which is runs the config.php and the installer for the Opencart, and these are the different scripts that runs, which makes it happen. So these things needs to be tested, and they make sure the scripts runs well, and working with the application team. This needs to be prepared before you jump into the CliQr. So these are the two files in zip format. We kind of stored on that your HTTP server. Now for that HTTP, you could add repository of different other types. These are the options available, including Puppet and Chef, all same as an S3. So in this case, just for demo make it simpler, we put an HTTP server. So let's start again. So this is the location we're going to kind of refer to where these scripts belong. So we can this app bundle. You could also use URL if you prefer. Next is global parameters. So we have two parameters here. One is for this is required by the script. And the other one is for the password. As a matter of fact, you won't be able to see this. This is run through the script, and there's a value on those scripts which pulls for the value of OCDP user and password. They'll pull this information and make it work. Okay, this is the basic. On top of that, you could do something like, say, sometimes for troubleshooting it might be useful. There's a parameter you can use to keep this VM running even if it deploys fails. So I'll probably get back to that a bit later. Now here's the main work we're going to do. So first, load balancer. And there's nothing configuration here. You just have to make sure it's Ubuntu. We have 6.0 because in the lab we have only 6.0. Second one is web server, so Apache. Again, we'll have to make sure this is CentOS. You could put the number of nodes, maybe minimum 2, maximum maybe 3. Depends on the You can also put a scalability, your scaling your policy. If it hits certain your performance, then it will kind of push another VM automatically. Application package, yeah, it is important. So here we're going to put this one, and application package is so just removing that files, and that's the your package. And the config file is config.php. Again, as an admin of CliQr, you might not know all this information. You'll have to get this information from the application team before you can start configuring that. You could put your scaling policy here. Okay, now there are a few things I would like to do here. Okay, firewall rules. Maybe I'll put again 22. And after that, post scripts, you could give this repo and then put the file name, but we have the zip file. So within that file, we can have the package. Let me grab the name of the file. Okay, it's let's see. You can see the file here actually. OC_auto. And we have 80 open because that's the way we're going to. And we have to deploy some packages to make this work. So those packages are listed here. And that's for troubleshooting. Now you can connect them. Okay. Make sure there's no space or anything here. Next is the database. MySQL here. And also you can connect them. And similar process we go through. CentOS. Doesn't really matter, this one. DB setup script. And I'll get the file name. So this is the file name for DB setup scripts, and you can see it is there. Yeah, that one. Okay. This is in the package we pointed earlier. In that package, it is there, and the other one was initialize a script. That's pretty much it. Means you could do other scripts if your application demands upgrade, migration, any minimum hardware specification, environment variables. You could put all these things here. One thing to note that we have not considered any variables for which cloud we're going to put it. This is a kind of cloud independent. We could push it to the VMware. You could push it to your AWS or any supported cloud. So that's the main concept. Now, I kind of mentioned that for troubleshooting, it can be useful for this. There's another parameters we can use. The way normally it works, if we deploy it and if it doesn't work or it fails somewhere, then CliQr is going to blow off all your VMs. There'll not be any trace that we tried this one. So, but if we add this parameter here, even if it fails, it's going to stick to for your troubleshooting. So we can add parameter at the bottom, and then it could true. Okay, that's pretty much it. Let's see, we try to save it. Okay, good. So see, AWS, it says deployed. And also if you can go into the cloud, we can see this is ready and running, all the IP address and everything. And you should be able to access the CentOS and this this is the instance name on the AWS and all the variables and what stages it went through. Okay. Now next, let's go and initiate the process for this one. Okay, I just want to make sure that we don't run into resource issues because it's a lab and many people are kind of using it. We have enough resources to deploy this, to 4 VM almost at the same time. So I think we should have enough space. Let's start deploying that. So this is for VMware. And we choose VM deploy environment. Same thing. It kind of populated all the information here. That's for VMware. And we could check the Yes, CCO is busy now. I have to deploy 4 VMs. And at the same time, we could also do it for AWS. So this is going for the VMware deploy. It's already selected here. T2 micro. All right. Let it go. Okay, there is another one we tried earlier with AWS. Maybe just put demo or something. Done. So we'll have to wait and see how this goes. See, on the deployment folder already we have 3 VMs rolling. This kind of goes to the CDN because the repository is the public one. We could change this one to the private one if customer wants. Could a kind of local one into there. And there is an agent Osmosix is going to install that. So let it go. When it's doing, I have reduced the number of VMs from 4 to, because the resources, we might be into crisis, like as there are a lot of people running on the one host. We have got one host here. So let's go back and see the configuration a bit here. Not this one. Okay. So application. And if it doesn't work, you can always edit that and retry again. So we put 1, not 2 minimum host. Otherwise, it could probably stretch our environment. But you could put probably more than 1. And this one, how it's going? Yeah, so 12. You can see the instance already 12 here. And these are the 3 VMs that running. Once it is completed, it'll tell that it's deployed, and you can try to access from here. So I will pause now and come back once it is completed. Okay, we're back, and both of those Opencart in AWS and VMware is deployed. I'll first go to the VMware one. And you can see the detailed information of each VM here, and the instance name, IP address, and also what are the tasks was running here. Same for this one. And the instance name. Now you can access that Opencart application right from here. So click that, and you can see this is a kind of a basic Opencart that launches. If you have to migrate, you can probably include the migration scripts. And also, if we go back to that, this is on the VMware. Now, let's go into the vCenter and have a look. Sorry, this one I was trying to get to the. So yeah, there are 3 VMs deployed here. You can go and there is a file on this VM. You can check for that Osmosix logs. That's the agent log. If anything is going, funny, something doesn't work. I think it's user local Okay, I'll give you the path later. Just give me a... Now, next one is AWS. That's also deployed. And also, you can get all the information regarding these VMs. That's on the public cloud. So you can see the IP address is public and the private, and also the similar kind of task that ran through. Same thing from here. You can access Opencart also from here. So it's a public IP and the application Opencart right here. So one click of a button, you can push this application to any cloud. And let me give you the your file name for any troubleshooting VM. Let me just pause and come back. Okay, that's is a local Osmosix and logs, and so this is the IP address 138. So let's try to log in. That's the IP address of the Apache server in the vCenter. Welcome to CliQr. Now, so there's two logs you can see on the services and then for the agent itself. So if things doesn't go well, you can come back and check here, and also the services logs. That's pretty much it. Now the last part I'll cover is quick demo of the, it's not demo, it's kind of cover the process because it's pretty obvious. One is for the local bundle. As I mentioned, that repository has got a very important role where your installers is pulled from. Just if you kind of remember that, or you probably forgot about that, let's go back here and show so on the CCO during the installation steps, you kind of give that information. Okay. So here you give the agent bundles, so cdn.cliqr.com. If you have a local one, you got to change this one and put whatever your location of the local bundle. So that's one, and there's another file I'll show you. It's nothing but making a web server and holding all those information that you need for the bundle. It supports like CentOS 6.7 or RHEL 6.7. Just kind of standard stuff. Set proxy if you need to. Then you install the HTTP service. You need that for the hosting the web server. Then you open port 80, which you'll definitely need, and reward the VM. And then this is the thing you download from Cisco website. Bundle artifact on the CCO, where you download the software, the same place you'll get the bundle artifact. And then this is the steps you make that available through the web server. Pretty much that's what it is saying. And then finally you run this script. You got that CCO, the one I showed, login and change that to your new location. You could do it from the file. Actually, this is nothing but pretty much the location you can see in that gateway.properties. Let's have a look at that. So this kind of points to the cdn.cliqr, so we need to change that to take the new local your repository in place. That's pretty much it. In that case, we're not going to look at the CliQr provided repo. It's going to look at the local repo. That's one. Other one is a optional. Your option is hmon. So I'm not sure if I have run through the config. Same thing. There's a wizard, and you kind of point to the CCM and the monitor ID. So first thing is it talks in coordination with the CCM. So if I go back to the diagram, the health monitor 8443 talks to the CCM and to the CCO. So it needs to know both of them, who sits where. So there's a wizard again for this one, and that kinds of pretty much run through that. So before you do that, means you'll have to make sure that CCM database is installed. In this case, MySQL or MariaDB. So I logged into the monitor, and it kind of says that okay, that database should be installed, blah blah. Oops! And if you run that script, that wizard, it kind of bring you here. Give the CCM info and exit the utility. That's pretty much it. There is nothing else involved there, and it's an your optional component. That's pretty much wrap up our presentation on CloudCenter. So we initially deployed CCM, then CCO MQP. Again, to emphasize, the Guacamole is a server for remote access. That could be a separate server on the same server. And probably I should show you one more thing here. RabbitMQ. So RabbitMQ is a place. It's easy for good for troubleshooting. That's for the cloud one. You can see what are the VMs we deployed. The internal IPs, it's kind of connected. So if the deployment fails, they cannot talk to each other for some reason. You can probably troubleshoot there. And this is the RabbitMQ within your VMware. That's 27. So you can see this one. Here it kind of completes today's session. If you have any question, you can contact me, sajalal@cisco.com. And thank you for watching.